So I'm going to be showing you how you can easily create forms using Vee-Validate and Zod, and also add client-side verifications to it, client-side validation to it using these libraries. So typically in a form, you want to have an email and password to log in for a form like this. And but what we also want to do is make sure that we validate the data before processing it. So for now, there are no client-side verifications or validations for it, and that is what we're going to be changing now in this video using Vee-Validate and Zod. Now, for this to work, we need some dependencies that we'll need to install. Uh, we'll need to install Vee-Validate Nuxt, which is the Nuxt module for Vee-Validate, and we also need to install Zod and Vee-Validate Zod. Now, I already have this installed, so I'm going to go back to my project. Let me just clean this up. I'm going to go back to my project and just come here to the Nuxt config and add this Nuxt module Vee-Validate Nuxt, add it to the Nuxt config here, and save. Now, I already have this project working. I already have it working in this other page, but I'm just going to walk you through how to set it up for yourself. So first thing I want to do is create a schema for my form. So in this form here, you can say I have an email and a password. I want to create a schema for that. So const no validation schema. So validation schema, the type schema, and for the schema I want to have an object, and this object is coming from Zod. It's coming from Zod. So for the object, I want to have it have two properties. So it's going to have an email, and also it's also going to have a password. I'm just not going to be taking the AI assistant. I just want to code this out so you can see, type it out so you can see. So I want to set up the value for email, and this would be a string. Of course, this would be a string, and I want to set it to a minimum of 1, and just get rid of that. Message. We want to set a message saying email is required. We also want to have dot mail. So we want to make sure this is an email. We also type in a message here for when a valid email is not provided. So invalid email, we want to have a message here. So you basically set the condition for what you want, and then you set the message for the error value to be displayed. We're going to be getting to the errors in a while. So now we want to also set up the password. This is going to be a string. I want to make it a minimum of 8. And we also want this to have a message, must be at least 8 characters, and I think that's it. Yes, must be at least 8 characters. But if you want, you can still define. There are a lot of stuff for you to define here. So you can add a max length, and you can make it nullable, or whatever you want to do. Basically, you can trim it and transform whatever you want to do. You can do it with this, but I'm just going to stick to having it as a 6 characters for now, and that's basically it for that. For this, you can see the string here is coming from Zod as well, so you don't want to miss that. You want to install that, you want to import that, and you don't want to miss that. So for now, we're going to be using the use form. So we get this use form function from Vee-Validate. We're going to be using that, and we're going to be grabbing the handles of bits and the arrows, and we're going to be passing the validation schema. So basically, we're going to have this. sorry, equals use form, and this use form is coming from Vee-Validate, but because we have this module here installed, we don't need to import it. So use form, and we're going to be passing in the validation schema that we declared. And from here, from this use form, you're just going to be getting the handle submit, and we're also going to be getting the errors, so nothing too fancy for that one. Now after we've done this, we want to use a field called use field. What this basically does is it declares a model. So it declares a ref model that we bind to our inputs. So basically with the const this, I hate it when this AI just keeps giving me suggestions like that. I mean, it's useful, but I don't want to have to. Oh, you get what I'm trying to say. I don't want to have it to just display for, but it's okay. It's okay. We're just going to stick to that for now. So use field email. From this use field, we are going to be grabbing the value, and we're going to be renaming it to email. We also want to do the same thing for the password. So basically, this for the password, and this, like I said, is just going to declare a ref for the email and the password that we're going to bind to our inputs. Now that we've declared that, let me just go ahead and bind it to the inputs, really basically. So this here I have the email. I'm just going to type b model and add email. Now I want to do the same thing for the password, v model password, and that's that for that. But the last thing we want to do is to handle the submit. So when someone submit, what do we want to do? So this can be anything you want to do, but the most important thing to note is you're going to have to use the handle submit function that is returned from use form. So basically you can call it whatever you want. We're just going to call it on submit. Please stop. So const on submit, we're going to be calling it as on submit equals handle submit. So this is the function that is returned from use form, handle submit, and this will take it to callback. Sorry for that. And here you can do whatever you want, but we're just going to be alerting the, and mind you, you need to grab the values that you get from this handle submit, and let's just alert the values for now. If we save, I will come here and we type in an email, we type in a password, and we try to log in. Wait, I'm coming. Let me see. Yes, we need to add, sorry for that. For this form here, we need to add a submit event. So at submit, basically at submit, we want to have it run this on submit function. So when we click on login, nothing happens now. It should be showing, I mean it should alert, but nothing happens, and that's because we are currently getting errors, but it is not showing here. So let me just come back to my code here and let me uncomment this. Basically what we're doing is grabbing the errors.email. So you're going to get errors for all of this stuff, but we're going to be grabbing the errors.email. Just we're going to be getting errors for email and password. So we want the one that we want to display here, which is the email own. We'll have that one to be displayed here, and We only want to show this p tag if we have errors for email. I'm also going to uncomment this. Now it's the same thing for the password as well. And let me just go ahead and save. And as you can see, we get the errors displayed beautifully. So this is at least 8 characters now. And I need to make this one a valid email. So let me just type UFO. Sorry for that. UFO.gmail. Let me get this. The gmail.com. Sorry, it isn't .gmail, but at gmail.com. And as you can see, the error is no longer there. And if we click on login, you can see we get object. The way we do this, let me just log this to the console so you can see what you'll be working with. So console.log. And if we save, let me open the terminal and come here to the console. God, now a lot of errors, right? So UFO at mail.com and password, just spam the keys there. And if we log in, we actually get an object. So to access the email, you can just say the values.email or password.email, and you can work with that however you want here inside the onSubmit function. Of course, this could be asynchronous as well. It doesn't matter.